What up, though? This your boy Cuzin P, and you're tuned in to the
Spot.
spot where the ears meet the street.
Here with the players, the best. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you. Damn, I don't even know. I gotta get the shit where your ear eat. What is it? Where your ears meet the street. Where your ear meet the street. The spot where your ear meet the streets, man.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Alaska with this spot where the ears meet the streets. I'm here with a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Reese 707.
Let's go. How you doing?
No complaints. No complaints.
Yeah, let's go. All right, let's get into it.
All right. So in 2019, I was diagnosed with brain cancer, and I was only given a couple years to live in 2019. So I'm recording this for my daughter, really. But if it helps the public, then I hope it helps people understand money the way it helps me live today. So in order to understand money, and I'm gonna talk like I'm talking to my daughter, so excuse me, but not like I'm talking to a child. But I'm gonna just explain it the
Yeah,
way,
you. Yeah, of
the
course.
easiest way. So the easiest way to understand money, you gotta first study the guy on the Monopoly box. If you don't study the guy on the Monopoly box and what they did to him and his life, you're not going to understand what money is. So everybody knows in America, in order to trade, you have to trade in American dollars. That's what makes us the world reserve currency.
Right.
So if you got a million tables, you got a million Priuses, you got a million couches, the only way you can sell them to the world is unless you sell it in American dollars. That's why we are the world reserve currency. So this guy on the Monopoly box, JP Morgan, he was so powerful when they first started this trade thing, when we had a depression the first couple times, out of his own pocket, he funded the bounce back out of his own pocket, right? And so like you know how friends are. The first couple times he was a hero. Second, after they realized how powerful he was, they tried to take him to trial. And they're like, you it's the new land in trade. So he owns the train. So he's first on the new land over here in trade. And so they take him to court and they say, well, you can't get paid off the stuff coming in the trains, the metal building the trains, the businesses that you're taking over, you're swallowing other businesses, you're getting paid all around the board. And so they took him to trial and they said, you can't have a monopoly because you're fluctuating the market at your own terms. So you can't have a monopoly. And so that's what the Monopoly game is. You're playing his legacy every time you play the Monopoly game. And so, long story short, he had a Denzel Washington in Training Day moment, the audacity, and he had a heart attack and passed away. So even though he had a heart attack and passed away, while he had his hand in it, and for the people that are watching right now, if you want to pause it and stop or whatever, but we're not going to pause it and stop. But if you Google Washington, D.C. is not a state. And then if you also Google, does America own the Federal Reserve? And if not, who does? And they won't tell you who owns it. So when JP Morgan passed away, they created the Federal Reserve to not only replace him, but so there will never be another person that they have to deal with that much power. They don't have to deal with,
Right.
People with that much power anymore. And so when you Google those two things I made you Google, you ask yourself, why does Washington, D.C. borrow its money from this private institution? And if you go to the penitentiaries, people say, well, it's the Rockefellers, it's the Rothschilds, it's the Vanderbilts, it's this. You listen to B.O.B., it's the 13 families and the bloodlines and the banks and this. And, these people own the world. But when you stop and when you hear people, when I talk to people about this situation, when they start saying they own the world and there's a they, I stop talking to them because I know they haven't studied. They're
Right.
just regurgitating shit. right? I mean, stuff, sorry. They're just regurgitating stuff. And so when they say they, what they mean is the logo itself, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Toyota, whether whatever the logo is, the logo itself becomes a person, right? The logo itself. It can buy, it can sell, it can employ, it can defend itself from itself.
Right.
Such and such CEO arrested for embezzlement of such and such company. When a logo gets to a certain big, it is now a person itself in the business world. So I'm not saying that those families don't get dividends or kickbacks, but nobody owns it. They may have a whole lot of shareholds in it and get dividends back from the bank, but
Right.
there's nobody sitting around a table with a pink slip.
Right.
And so once you understand how money is made, you'll understand. Like right now, I tell my daughter, and I preach this to my daughter every day. I live off 100% credit card. I don't touch any of my debit. Only thing that you need to pay attention to and recognize through this little speech is banks pay shareholders. Credit unions pay their members.
Right.
So just remember that. Banks pay shareholders. Credit unions pay their members.
Right. And credit unions have money, banks borrow money.
No, banks are for profit. That's why Bank of America and everything, when you get down to a low, they start charging you fees. They charge for everything. Credit union, you can have $3 in an account, they won't shut it down.
Right.
So just remember that. So when they're first starting and they shut it down, they create this system, and they're like, well, why does America borrow its money from this private thing? And people think that it's a private company. If America has to borrow its money, what makes you think they're going to let us have any money?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So if you have a social security card, if you have a social security number and you work, you can buy they'll give you everything they'll give you the money for free.
Right.
They'll give you the money for free. So like I said, these, and not free, but with interest, with business. So these logos, what do they provide you? They provide you commodities, right? Remember, banks pay their shareholders, credit unions pay their members. So you get a credit card at the bank, and you get a credit card at a credit union. The credit card at the bank, you put every bill possible on the credit card from the bank. You can't pay loan on loan, so you can't pay your car loan, or you can't pay mortgage, but you can pay your insurance, you can pay your registration, your food, your water, your gas to work, your PG&E, your SMUD. Everything goes on that credit card.
Right.
Now, the logos provide you commodities. Toyota provides you cars. Walmart provides you everything. Old Navy provides you clothes. But what's the first thing they give you? The credit card. So when you put all this on the credit card, when you put it on your credit card, they don't say it out loud, but the bank will look at it. Oh, that is long-term money. He has to pay it every 30 days. And that's why I pulled up this thing. Credit cards generally do not have a formal payoff quote like loans do, because they are revolving credit lines that accrue interest daily. So when you put all those bills on that credit card, they're looking at money years down the line.
Right.
So as you're using it, you're maxing it out, you're using it, you're taking your time. Debit is the money you're trading for your time.
Right.
That's what you're trading for your time. You know you're not going to get that back. You can't get time back.
Right.
But you take that debit and you put it on the card. Remember when we said it's about trade? Nothing gets made unless it's used. The card is not money until you swipe it. The Prius is not money until you get the loan. The house is not money until you get the loan.
Right.
So it's called a derivative. Something from something that's not there. So when you put your commodities, your logos on that bank card, the bank looks at it like, we got money 10 years from down the line. Keep giving them money. So as soon as you max it out, you give them money. Max it out, giving out money, give it out money. You wake up in the morning, and for the people who use credit cards from a bank, vouch for me. You wake up in the morning, boom, $5,000 extra on the card, $2,500 extra on the card, $3,000 extra on the card, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to your job, they won't do that.
Right.
because you're not supposed to be using cash. That's why every generation of us has been broke. That's why we're all broke. You can't work your way out of debt. You got to deal your way out of debt. So everything you use on that card, you keep spinning it in a circle. It's revolving, it's revolving, it's revolving in a circle. Bills every 30 days. They keep raising the credit limit. What I do, because like I said, what I do, I separate the banks. I bank with a bank, and all my automatic bills, everything comes out of that bank. Everything automatic. I save with the credit union because they pay their members. Okay? And so when you make that separation and you get the money you're trading your time for, the debit that you're trading your time for, you say, okay, babe, if I take this $500 out, we're going to be short on Xfinity, we're going to be short on PG&E, and then we're going to be short on cable, right? But the bank just gave you $2,500 extra free money for nothing.
Right.
So you take your 500 out first. And I'm not telling people stop your retirement, stop this, I'm not telling you what to do with your savings. I'm telling you what I've done and what works for me. So when we get our check, I take 500 and debit out, not cash. I don't even get to see the green. I take 500 and debit out and slide it over. The rest, the debit goes onto the credit card to pay the bills, right? Right now in my pocket, I have a $40,000 credit card. I only owe $5,000 on it. I've been having this card since I've been 19 years old. It's went up. I done maxed it out. Clubs, Disneyland, Great America. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. But still, while I owe them, they're steady giving me money. Why? Because the banks pay fees, credit unions pay their members. So now when I'm short on, when I take my 500 and I'm short, I'll just float it on the card.
Right.
They don't want me to pay the card off.
Right.
Because they won't make no money if I pay the card off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So once you get that down, now you've been doing this system for, say, this just counting numbers, because like I said, I got brain surgery, so I get to rambling, but just say count numbers. You've been doing this system 3-4 years. You got 100,000 in the bank, right?
Yeah.
You go to the credit union and you say, what are your share certificates and promotional certificates for this season? Banks pay shareholders, credit unions pay you.
Correct.
For 4 months, if you don't touch that 100 grand, Mac Reese, we'll give you $2,000 if you don't touch it in 4 months. Okay, that $2,000 in 4 months is sped up, is now not interest no more.
Right.
It's called a dividend because you're making profit. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
So when the bank's giving me those dividends, I'm matching them from my job because that's what you would do in a retirement.
Right.
But if you let a retirement hold it, they're going to hold it till you're 60, 70 years old, right? So if a bank is giving me such and such money to hold it for 4 months, what do you think they're giving you your job to hold your retirement for 50 years?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So you do this system, you live off credit. If you're paying bills with debit, it doesn't count. You're going through life, going around the board, and it's not counting. It's debit doesn't count. Debit is your money.
Right.
But if America can't have money, what makes you think they're going to let you have money?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why, put it like this. If grandma seen a nickel movie ticket, and before we die, grandma told us a story, she seen a nickel movie ticket. Before we die, a movie ticket is $50.
Right.
One lifetime. You're only giving me 8 hours. The house is $500,000. The car is $100,000. The bills are $50,000. There's no way 8 hours a day can catch me up to that.
Right.
Because I'm not supposed to be using cash.
That money. Right.
I'm not supposed to be using cash. You're supposed to be using their money. Cash is just small tenor. When the taco man gets done, what does he have to do? Take it to the bank, put it in the bank so it counts.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The cash, it doesn't count.
Right.
So this whole time you're paying bills with debit, you're no disrespect to anybody, but that's why they do to our Mexican brothers and sisters. They go to La Tapatia, they got to cash their check there. They can't cash their check at the bank. because they can't go to the bank and ask for free money.
Right.
The American dream is free money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, just like I said, I bought 3 houses, never spent over $5,000. You go to the bank. What are your FHA programs? You qualify for the program. You let the bank buy the house. Yes, the bank gets paid a little bit more. They're giving you $30,000, $40,000 down payment for free,
Right.
right? But when you live in the house for 3-4 years and you sell it, whatever's off top, you get 125,000 and your wife gets 100, or your significant other gets 125,000. So long as you don't make over $250,000 in profit, whatever you make is tax free.
Right.
Now I have another one, right? Let me see where. Even if you have a significant amount of money in your savings account, you can still use FHA and use their money to buy your house. So if you got 100,000, 20,000, 50,000, 60,000, whatever you got in the bank, you don't have to spend your money to buy a home.
Right.
You just qualify for the program and they'll do it. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I do my whole life on the credit card, just spinning, just spinning, just spinning. So if I owe 6 on the card, I got 3,000 in bills, it's going 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 3. The only thing I have to pay back are unusual spending. Wife wants an entertainment center. She wants to go to Disneyland. She wants to go to Great America. You plan for those and you pay them back.
Right.
But the bills, you don't
They're
pay.
always-
You,
yeah.
you keep them in circle. There will never be a minimum payment due on that credit card because every day it's getting hit. Food, gas, water, clothes, and you take your debit, you pay it back to the card.
Right.
Every bill to them is considered a payment,
Yes.
a
Yep.
derivative, and they will keep raising your card. So as soon as you turn 18, if you get the card, do everything on the card. By the time you're our age, you should have the black metal card, credit limit, unlimited, 200,000, 300,000 limit.
Right.
The misconception people have is when, oh, I owe this much to the credit card. If I give them the money back, they're going to take it. They're going to make it available for you to use because you guys are doing business.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, and I learned all this going down the rabbit hole. Here's another rabbit hole for you, right? You ever watch the movie with Eddie Murphy, Trading Places? You ever watch Eddie movie with Eddie Murphy and the white guy where
Oh yeah.
they bet $1 that they can mess up their lives and trade their lives,
Right,
whatever,
yeah.
right? You Google that cover. If you Google the cover of Trading Places and read the cover, it says Aaron Russo, executive producer. You go study Aaron Russo. Aaron Russo has a documentary that shows there is no law to pay taxes. He has IRS agents in there and they're trying to get this $50,000 reward, and nobody can find out why we're liable to pay taxes. And this is not a conspiracy theory, it's just learning it so you can use the free money while we have it before
Right.
they take this shit away. Because once they take the dollar away where it says Fed Reserve on there, nobody's going to know the difference.
Mhm.
Once this dollar's gone, they're not going to know this, they're not going to know it.
Right.
But if you study his documentary, Aaron Russo, he created the movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy, he shows there's no law to pay taxes. And this is why I believe in the Federal Reserve and the conspiracy thing and the corporations, because in order for us to be liable to pay taxes, you have to agree to do business. You
Mhm.
get a job, you submit an application, you agree to do business.
Right.
You get Xfinity, you are now part of the Xfinity Corporation.
Right.
You get cable, you are now part of the Cable Corporation. You get PG&E, you are now part of the PG&E Corporation.
Right.
So that's why when you go out and see these homeless people, that's why they don't arrest them. That's why they just put up blocks and flowers. Hey, y'all just move over here.
Right.
Because if they put them in jail, they get the three hots in the cot, free food and everything.
Right.
They're not arresting them because they're not agreeing to do business.
Exactly.
They're not agreeing.
Paying
But
into
me,
the
but me and
system,
you,
right.
but me and you who are going to work and going to job, we're submitting applications for all these goods, and that's what makes us part of those corporations and make us being able to liable to be billed. And so that's why I say about, I'm not going off regurgitating what other people say. Oh, they own the world. These people own the world. If you study, you'll know.
You'll know. Yes.
You'll know.
Exactly. And what are if somebody wants to study this, where should they look? Is it a YouTube?
You got to study you got to start with the guy on the Monopoly box.
Oh, okay.
JP Morgan. If you don't start with him, you won't understand it, because they built the people that we're borrowing our money from, or the company that we're borrowing our money from, was created to replace him.
Could people reach out to you to further this conversation?
Yeah, I love to talk about
Yeah.
it every day, but everybody, they to put 10 years of my studying into 45 minutes of talking, people run and they shut down because they don't get it.
Right.
They don't understand it. But like I said, I'm recording this for my daughter because I preach this to her every day. And right now she's so young, she can't bite into it the way I want her to bite
How old
into
is she?
it. She's turning 18.
Okay.
She's about to turn 18. So she has a job, she has a car, she has all that. But I'm trying to show her, like, hey, these people are around here. Everybody's struggling because they're not reading.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be using cash.
Right.
At all. It is small tenure to make their derivatives real.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
You get what I'm saying? So when you put that money on the credit card and makes their derivatives real, they'll start giving you money. But with the credit union, they won't do that. They won't. I've been trying to circle my card with the credit union forever, and it stays the same. They won't do it like the bank.
Yeah.
But when you go to the bank, to the credit union, and you do that thing with the certificates, I am now part of one of them now.
You're a shareholder.
I'm getting paid from the bank every day just to leave my money there.
I love that. That's great.
So just like the USA and just like everybody else, people say, well, who owns the Federal Reserve? Why are we borrowing our money from them? We all own it. You can go to Robinhood right now and buy as many shares of any company you want and get the same dividends kickback that they're getting.
That makes sense, yeah.
So nobody it's not a they, it's who's doing the most business.
Right. Who's maximizing on what needs to be maximized.
Exactly. And that's why I say about the retirement, when y'all shred them other clips, the retirement. There's a real nigga retirement and there's a work retirement. The work retirement, they're gonna hold it till you're 60, 70. They're not gonna let you touch it. You get what I'm saying? You try to pull it out, they're going to tax you twice for income. They're going to give you penalties, and it's going to be, you can't even touch it till you're 60, 65. Your prime year is over.
Right.
All the popping collars is over at 60, 70. It's over, right? But if I save it in real time myself, go to the bank and do these certificates just like they're doing, I am now hustling with the bank.
I love that.
And people say, oh, well, if you put it in your retirement, it hides the taxes. They count it before the government. They do all this. All those stipulations is too much for you to hold my money and make me borrow it back.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And so me doing this, people say, well, you're going to have to pay taxes on that money. No, you're paying taxes on the profit you make with the bank, not the money that's in there. So if you got a certain amount in there and they say, well, Mac Reese, at the end of the year, you made $5,000 in profit. You have to pay us taxes on that. I'm not spending the money.
Right.
It's in the bank.
It's chilling.
Here goes your $1,000. I'll see you in 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm paying taxes with their money.
With their money. Yeah. That makes sense.
Making money with their money. So if I'm a hustler in the street and I get to 50 or 100 racks, why would I risk selling a $100 bag, getting my everything wrapped up and losing it all when I can just go get a job, use their free money as an American?
There you go. Yeah. So before we wrap up, what would be your 2 biggest points that you want your daughter to know?
That because our house is in a trust and all the good stuff, if it works and they don't rip all her money away from probate and the trust works, she knows that when you fall off, if you lose your job, You do not go into your savings to pay the bills. If
Mm.
you lose your job and you can't rent out the house, or you can't turn it into a residential reentry center, or you can't do something, rent it out to your cousins, or if you can't do something with it, you sell it, put the money in the bank, and you live in your car until you find another job. Bills are paid from your job, not your savings. So you sleep outside until you find another job.
There you go.
You sell your house, do whatever you do. You don't go into your savings and pay the bills that you're behind on.
Right.
Bills get paid from your job.
Yep. that
You
makes
lose
sense.
your job, start over.
Start over.
Sell your house, sell your car, leave the money in the bank. And I say that I'm not saying nothing that I haven't done. When I used to be in the streets, I slept on that park bench with the 10 racks tied around a rubber band around my drawers.
Shit. Okay.
You get what I'm saying? But
I didn't know that was a thing.
but I wasn't gonna go spend
Right.
that money on a room.
Right. You was
I
holding it.
wouldn't get it back.
Right.
So if you lose your job and you know, hey, I ain't gonna be able to pay for this house, you rent it out. If you can't rent it out, you sell it. You take the money, you hold it until you find another
There
job.
you go. I love
And if
that.
you don't find another job, you don't have to pay bills. They're not charging them. They're not
Exactly.
charging the homeless. They're not running up to them.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right.
So as long as you turn your car, give up the loan, give up the house, you hold your money until you get another job.
I love that's great advice. So I just want is there anything else you want to let her know before we wrap up?
No, it's just that was really it. It's just people don't understand the concept of the money and credit. People are struggling because they're trying to work themselves out of debt. So you have to change the word debt to commodity.
Commodity. Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
You have to change the word debt to commodity and only use your credit card. You do not spend the money you're trading your time for because you cannot get it back. You cannot get it back. Right now, if your money's in the bank account and you owe whatever in the bank account and then you got this much in your savings, the bank account's not going to go into your savings to pay those debts.
Right.
They won't do that. You do not spend your savings on bills. You spend a job money.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Every time you get a check, soon when you get your debit, you take out 500. If you do, I like even numbers. 250, that's 4 checks. That's too much. That's too long. 350, 357 a rack. 357 a rack. 3 is cool, but I like 500. 500 a rack. 500 a rack. 500. Every time I get paid from my job, I make money with the bank just like they make money with the bank. So there is no they. It's business.
It's business. Thank you so much for being here and giving us all that knowledge. I think that is just great information. And we're out, y'all.
This brother from Detroit.